Hello and welcome to Creative Marketing TV. My name is Susan Joy Schlief. I am the founder and host of Creative Marketing TV. I'm really glad to have you join us today. I have a very special guest today who I've been really enjoying the couple conversations that we've had about Facebook video in particular. So I am welcoming Gord Isman to the show today. Let me get my opening screen off here. And Gord, welcome to Creative Marketing TV.
Oh, thank you, Susan. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know we had a lot of fun talking, and we are going to have a great interview, I know.
It says we're live, but my phone still shows our static screen, I guess. There's a slight lag, right?
There is a slight lag, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning that. In case
maybe when someone comes on, they can let you know in the chat that we're here.
That's right. That's right. Yes. And please, as you do come in, please leave a comment in the chat and let us know where you're watching from. And feel free to ask questions, and I will keep an eye on the chat and forward those questions on to Gord as the show goes on. So let's dig right in. We only have a half-hour show, so let's make the most of it. Gord,
Absolutely.
Let's get started talking about why you started including Facebook videos in your repertoire rather than just YouTube that you had been doing at first.
Okay. So Facebook, as we know, everybody can spend God knows how much time on it, but we're quickly whipping through our feed, and it's very quick, and we're consuming information and entertaining stuff nonstop, just through a scroll of the forefinger. And what I got to appreciate was that square video was becoming more meaningful on Facebook, and I got really inspired to produce a lot of memes and short content, what I call micro content, that's like very entertaining and catchy and attracts people immediately. So you need to grab them with either a visual or a text message or both, a combination, very quickly in order to grab their interest for them to stay on the feed. And oftentimes people have it turned off. So if the image or the text doesn't grab their attention, they're just going to scroll by. And if it's too long as well, you know, maybe they won't hang in. So the pressure to get things in a tight time frame kind of attracted me as a challenge for video. And I know that's very different than Facebook Live, which creates a whole other opportunity for people like my friend Professor Nez, who does multiple shows a week, and you know, it's more of a forum for, you know, getting people to know people at a deeper level. I was doing more micro content, and so I see there's, you know, multiple purposes for what the Facebook provides in the way of video, which is very different from my YouTube channel.
Right.
And as you know.
Yes. Yeah, and those are the reasons I got involved with it too, that you were just describing. So it's interesting that we were on sort of parallel paths with that. Mm-hmm. You know, you mentioned YouTube Live being, you know, a little bit longer, and most people do tend to talk a little bit longer, but the latest suggestions that I'm hearing now from one of my mentors who was at the social media world in the spring, mm-hmm. He said now they're recommending 2 to 5 minutes for YouTube. I'm sorry, for Facebook Live broadcasts as well, which is not very long at all to talk.
Yeah, I see increasingly the desire is for shorter length content.
Yeah.
That's not to say that there isn't a place for longer content. It all depends, I think, on what kind of show and what you're doing and what is the purpose people have come to sit there for. Because if they're there, you know, to learn something that's how to or respond, and it's got a lot of engagement, you know, then maybe they're interested in hanging around for a much longer time, like a podcast style video delivery through Facebook, right? But
once they get to know you,
messaging is increasingly pressured to be delivered in a shorter time frame.
Yeah. In fact, Facebook's recommendation now is 15-second videos. So
that's what I love.
Yeah.
It's a fun challenge.
It is. Yep. So before we go any further, Gord, why don't you tell our viewers just a little bit about who you are and how you got started with building your YouTube channel and got into the whole world of online video.
Okay, so back in 2009, I was let go from my corporate job at 50 years old, where I thought it was going to be, golden handcuffs if I hung in for another half a dozen years, qualify for early retirement, but it just wasn't so. And I got very disillusioned when I left about, what was I doing for so long? There's a lot of, interesting, passionate things inside me that never got expressed. So over several years and exploring different things, it wasn't until just the last few years where I just started to discover my creative side. So in 2014, because photography was, an avid hobby of mine, but I was involved in camera clubs and doing lots of fun photography work. I got inspired to put a book together with some spiritual wisdom, which I recently published with the help of our friend DeHill Roberts. And it got me to realize that when I had presented the book first as a gift to the teacher, she said that I have a lot of talent here and that I need to share and be more creative and pursue that. So the book sat for 2 years, from 2014, to 2015, 16, and then in 17, I published it finally. But it got me thinking that, yes, I can explore the creative side of things. And then I went for a period of time exploring all kinds of things to find out what I wanted to do with this next chapter of life, because I don't want to go back to the corporation. I want to do something that I can be in control of, and there's no timeline pressures as to how long I'm going to be able to do it. All these things that an older employee has to consider and factor in when they're working for someone else. And I discovered things like product launch formula. I was exploring that, going to Facebook ads, learning from courses like Amy Porterfield. I was exploring all kinds of things, and I wanted to get back to my technical roots, and I didn't really know where I was going to take a foothold. And then I started to get excited about video. And this is when I got Camtasia and took a deep dive into Lon Naylor and Michelle Shane's Learn Camtasia community.
Right, which is where we met, right?
Where we met. And I got really inspired to explore my potential in video. And, they were very encouraging. They helped to critique a lot of my content. I did something that was very uncharacteristic of me, was being vulnerable to put my stuff out there to learn, which I recommend to anybody. Sort of like, let go of the ego and try as best you can to get feedback on your content, because always what we think up here may be far from what others are feeling as an audience to experience. Plus, they were very knowledgeable and helpful, and I feel it helped me grow a lot and accelerate my skills and hence my passion for Camtasia as a technology, which has been a core piece of my YouTube channel.
Great. And I know you're up to over 1,000 subscribers now, right?
Yeah. So this morning I'm at 1,023, and I feel so grateful because my passion is to help people. I'm a video and YouTube consultant, and I want to help people grow their channels, learn how to use video in their business or for personal needs. And, whether they need help to do stuff on their own, or they want work done for themselves. I just love creating and helping and teaching people. And that's how I want to serve going forward. So I've been working hard to build the channel and presence in my knowledge as a teacher, because I do a lot of tutorials to educate people and show them what I've learned in my journey.
Yeah, that's great. And, as you know, that's how I got started with video, was because I was in technical training. So learning to develop training videos first. And then I thought, well, I can use this to create other kinds of videos too.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how versatile the tools like PowerPoint can be, like you're showing with your templates.
Right. And Camtasia as well.
Yeah,
right?
for video. Yeah. So a lot of people don't even think about it as much, it may not be familiar with what you can do in video with PowerPoint, which is really impressive. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you. So let's see. Let's go back on, we were going to touch a little bit, I think, on how you're growing your community around your YouTube channel.
Okay.
We talked about the number of subscribers, but what else is involved with that? You know, how do you build
Yeah.
that trust and
So,
authority?
yeah, so it's definitely a long game. It took me 17 months to just now get across the 1,000 subscriber barrier. And there are all kinds of people that get there in a few months or lightning fast. It all depends on the niche and popularity and relevance of what you're doing for what people are looking for and your ability to succeed in your optimization and performance. Well, since I am like a how-to channel and my focus and for a lot of it has been about teaching people about Camtasia as an example. And that became, in the last 6 months or so, or 8 months, a core part of my strategy to help grow my channel with working with in an area that's more of, I'll call it a sub niche of what my niche is, because I help people with video and YouTube and video marketing, but Camtasia is a core part of the editing and skills required to do the creative work. So I figured it would help if I could try to anchor my exposure on YouTube to something where I had a chance to be able to grow a little more quickly per se, or at least get a foothold in trying to be able to compete versus trying to go straight out as someone putting out videos about YouTube. So strategically, I took a bit of a different path than others, and it's where my the hardcore passion is too. So, and I recently started to do videos on social video. So I have a series of videos about Facebook and how to do memes and how to creative ideas for Facebook video. So I'm gradually starting to branch out now, but that was my approach to help establish what I'm about. So there's many facets to come, and I'm grateful for the progress that's happened so far, whatever time it's taken, because I'm working because it's my heart's desire. Right.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. We have a question here from one of our viewers. Anna Scheller is watching us. Welcome, Anna.
Okay. Thank you, Anna. Great.
And she's asking. She says social media can be such a time sucker. How do you monetize the videos so that your time on social media is productive?
Okay, so I'm not quite sure whether she's asking about monetizing the videos that like I may be putting. Right now, I'm using social video as a means of helping for people to get familiar with my capabilities and to engage with me. And it seems to be working. But to monetize, I think you need to go into the business of something like local video marketing, like I started to do before, but I'm going to get back into doing more of that. So if you have the skills to produce these nice pieces of micro content and quality content, that would be good to help local businesses. Then you need to work on your effort to market yourself and get clients. So it all takes work and that's one of the avenues I see. But I'm also using it, as I say, to help grow people to see my skills and competency for consulting work for projects, not just the fact that I'm creating micro content for sale. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a good point. There are actually a number of different ways that you can benefit financially. I know usually when people hear monetize your videos, they think of putting ads on them, and that's an option. It's not one I've chosen to do because I don't want to be sending people to someone else's channel based on a common keyword,
And I think that also is something that may be more relevant for people who have channels that get super high volume views.
Yeah.
And so, but I would never want to bank on one strategy. So that's why I'm going to create. I have digital products I'm creating. I'm working on a course right now as an example. So there are other avenues that one can use, like your YouTube channel for, right? But her question was more geared towards social media video. So that this is an extension. Thinking it's not the only thing I'm doing was the only message that I'm trying to convey there.
Right. And I think what I would add to that, maybe to address Anna's question, is both for YouTube and for Facebook, to me, it's just another form of content marketing. And it's all about establishing my authority, getting my message out there, and attracting people to become part of my community, like you talked about. And then over time, I've started adding some opt-in links to the description or to the, when we had the ability to put the annotations on, I would do it right on the video, or in Facebook, adding it in the description as well, and sending people to a free offer initially, or sending them to register for a webinar, and, really looking for clients and students to start following me. But it's not an immediate monetization.
No. And that's the thing. I don't think that people should look at their subscriber count and view count as an indication of whether they're going to be able to garner some good clients. It's all a matter of people resonating with you and believing that they can connect with you and get what they're seeking. And then that's all the connection that has to be made. I mean, there are tons of people that watch stuff and see you that don't communicate and you don't know. And that's one of the wonderful things about, the enigma of YouTube and Facebook, is that who knows how many people are actually looking and not communicating. And that's one of those things that took me a long time to adjust to, till I started to get comments and feedback on my video, so that at least I can know, hey, does anybody like what I'm doing out there? It'd be nice to hear from someone and not just be like, you're hollering out into a forest that there's no one there.
That's a great point, because I think I mentioned to you when we first talked that I have a video that I posted on my Facebook page that at this point now has over 16,000 views.
Oh, awesome.
But those people, most of them are not leaving comments. Most of them, I have no idea how to follow up with them. So, it's important that you don't rely on just people seeing the video and then knowing that they want to work with you. You have to really put the marketing pieces in place.
And that's something I need to step up in my game. But I wanted to wait until I had put enough content out and started to grow that way to show people the diversity of skills and experience I have. So
and I think
that was my, and everybody, different people have different strategies as to how they go about that. Right.
Yeah.
And
just one other thing I'll add before we move on to a different topic. I think there's a point at which, depending on what you're selling, if it's a low price ebook or bundle of templates or something, maybe this isn't so important, but to get somebody to become a coaching client, or even to get a local business owner who wants a customized video, you can't just do that all on social media. At some point, you have to take the conversation offline, pick up the phone and call them, or go into their business and talk to them. And that's where Anna's skills come in, because Anna's a sales coach.
Oh, awesome.
So that's, the piece where social media becomes a lead generation tool, but then you need to follow up with the person individually.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things about having been in the corporate world and doing high-end consulting in places like Oracle and Price Waterhouse in my tech days, and growing leadership skills and project management skills. That's all great, but I had a sales and marketing machine supporting me there. So I was more involved in, I'd call it a pre-sales support role when I had to do that and participate that way. But now, wearing the entrepreneur hat, I need to do all of those things. And that's been a challenge for me, is putting that energy into the sales and marketing side. And that's one of the areas I am, working on as we go forward. So, but I appreciate
Let me introduce you to Anna Scheller.
That's great. Thanks.
So let's get back for a little bit. We have a little time yet. Let's get back to talking about Facebook and what unique things you've been learning about creating video specifically for Facebook.
Okay, so to me, this is about what you mentioned before. Let's call it the anatomy of like a 15-second video, right? So right away, you need to hook your people in the first couple of seconds and give them a reason that they're not skipping by your video in the feed. So you have to have some kind of like really compelling image or video piece that's almost like shock value in a way, but hopefully in a positive way. And then, bring forward a message. And what I'm learning in my technique is, before I used to always try to create something, and the message would be, okay, it's a minute long, or it's a minute and a half. And then what the mindset of having to go into like getting them hooked right away, and then having some core message and then a call to action at the end, has forced me to actually be much tighter in cutting in my editing. And now I can almost do 2, if not 3 micro scenes to complete the message in 15 seconds. And I find that helps with keeping people's attention on the video, because if I just did one clip through, even with whatever overlaying text messages with a call to action and whatever the core is, or music or narration, just having that diversity in there keeps their attention. You know, it's hard. Like if they aren't gripped within 3-4 seconds, they're gone, or even quicker, right? So, I mean, those are some of the things I consider. I'll call it, you know, in the anatomy, the 15-second video. And I like to put sound in as well, but that's may never get listened to. But I ought to be sure that the text covers what it is, the messaging and the call to action, so that it has merit in its own right to stand on its own, right? So
Yeah.
those are a few of the tips I would share.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I know some of the recommendations I've been reading are to put captions on the video. And that is one way to do it. I prefer not. Most of the time, I don't make them look like captions. I just put the text in the middle of the video, so that the text is part of the animation of what you're watching, right?
Yeah, and you can do kinetic text. I do that in a lot of my videos. So it's actually interesting, you know, with the advent of things like behaviors and Camtasia 9, you can do all kinds of interesting things. But what's tricky about animations is they need to be kind of ultra quick in a 15-second video, as an example, or because it can often take too long to execute on a kinetic text experience. When, like you said, if the text is static, it's there quick. But if you want to add a bit of juice to it, you still need to be careful about what you're doing with it and manage the timing, and that it's not too distracting.
Yeah. And that's what I find with PowerPoint too. Of course, there are so many different animations in PowerPoint, but some of them, you know, you and I both know all these bundles of templates that are getting sold on the market, you know, with huge animation files connected to them. And I know some of the favorites that they use, I find, are just really too slow. And people don't want to sit there and watch the letters drop down one at a time to fill up a whole line of text, you know. So I don't tend to use those. I look for things that they wipe across the screen very quickly, rather than one letter at a time, unless it's a slower video. I do sometimes use the one at a time, but for a short piece of text.
Very, very true.
So, you know, I don't think I asked you this before. Are you sharing those videos mostly on your personal profile or on a Facebook page?
Yeah, so they're on my personal profile page. I haven't yet put together like a group page or another kind of page yet on Facebook.
Business
I'm
page,
still trying to strategize. I've just been getting more into doing Instagram videos, which is kind of really cool, because I find that's also helping me bring awareness to people of my videos. And again, I'm really enjoying, you know, trying to do that. You get a little longer there. Well, I mean, you have what length of time you want to use in Facebook, but I find, again, Instagram more like a snackable kind of consumption too. I call it snackable.
Yeah.
Bite size, as they say.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. And if people want to see, they're welcome to just, if you go to my Facebook page, which is just Gord Isman as one word, or you can key my name in, Gord space Isman, you'll find there's lots of short videos, memes, and all kinds of examples of this kind of video there. That's where I'm sort of showcasing that kind of thing, with the exception of the videos I started on social video in my YouTube channel, and I have a playlist there on social media video, and you can see lots of memes, examples, and other things, and some advice on techniques. I've already been communicating that and sharing that kind of knowledge.
Yeah, I need to do that for mine. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Once I started doing the Facebook ones, I've just been putting them all on my Facebook page, and I've neglected my YouTube channel. So thanks for that. I'm going to go do some videos on social video.
Well, you need to get into the discipline of regular publishing. I mean, my challenge is publishing multiple videos a week, trying to do other things. but I'm at least guaranteeing at least one. I want to get to 3, and sometimes I'm getting 2 a week. So it all helps to give people a sense of consistency, to know that you're, you know, I don't want to say a player, it's not the right word, that you're actually working to serve the community in a regular, consistent way. So then people are interested more in you, right?
Yeah. Well, and there's more content for them to find too.
For sure.
All right. So we're getting close to the end here. I know you have a couple free offers you wanted to let people know about. I'll bring up the screen to show that if you want to go ahead and describe it.
Okay. So what are we going to see here first? So basically what I wanted to share with people is that I do, you know, video and YouTube consulting, and I have a package on there. Plus I'm offering a free 30-minute consultation with anybody to just explore whatever it is they want. And Susan's going to share the link. Is that right?
Yep. I just got the right page up.
So I can help people, whether it's from the ground floor, like I don't know what equipment to buy, how do I improve on my lighting, what should be my approach to getting my channel started, what do I do about channel art and branding, how do I optimize my videos. So whatever focus or interest that you have, I'm there to help, and to show you some of the ropes on how to get things going. And the other thing is I have a nice ebook that I produced, which is near 10,000 words. It's kind of long, but it covers a lot of the areas of what I just described to you, in the sense of how to make better videos from home, so that you can actually set up an environment or a location in your house, and how to set that up with what gear to use, what options there are for backdrops, and how to set it all up, and some tips on how to execute that, everything up to the stage of getting ready to press the record button. So there's a lot of goodies in there, and a lot of links to gear recommendations and things, so that people can help find their way in sort of a self-study approach. That's those two things. And then of course my YouTube channel is out there. So
right, that's great, Gord. And that's focused mostly on camera video, then, it sounds like, right?
As opposed to what do you
as
mean,
opposed
like
to computer generated video, the animated kind of things that we were talking about.
Yeah, it's for people. The ebook is geared towards people trying to set up, like a talking head style channel, and with backdrops and an environment in which to record themselves, and how to set up their mics and tripods and lighting and all of those details.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not about but yet you're right. And it's a good point you mentioned, because on my channel, there's a lot of content on learning how to do animations, kinetic animations and stuff that's more geared for the person that wants to spruce up their channel and learn how to do things, but yet they don't have to be an After Effects guru, or it's not like for the hardcore filmmaker, cinematographer. This is more for people looking to get involved in YouTube and build something and have a nice professional style channel without having to become go to film school per se to execute and do things.
Okay, good.
That's kind of my angle.
Well, we are about at the end of our show here, so I am going to say thank you to Gord. First of all, it does go fast. And I just want to take a minute to say, if you are looking for information about creating animated PowerPoint videos, I have a webinar coming up on October 2nd. You can find the information about that at presentationswithresults.com/events. Or look for me on my Facebook page, which is PowerPoint Queen Rules. Or you can always leave a message here too on Creative Marketing TV. And those links that I shared for Gord's offers, I'm going to ask Gord to go and leave a comment under the replay for this. And that way, if you didn't get it written down, you can just click on the link that he shares. So Gord, thank you so much for being here. I know you shared a lot of great information. Hopefully it will get our viewers, either the live ones or the ones that will watch the replay in the future, it will get them started looking at new ways to create video.
Yes, and thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, and it was a pleasure, and it sure does go fast.
Yes. All right. Thank you, those of you that were here watching. I really appreciate you being here. And again, thanks to Gord Isman. This is Susan Joy Schlief signing off for Creative Marketing TV.